ES Audio.
From the Evening Standard in London, I'm Mark Blunden, and this is The Leader. The ongoing energy crisis and Russia's state-controlled energy giant Gazprom says it will severely cut gas into the European Union that's usually delivered through its main offshore pipeline. Gazprom says it's stopping operation of another compressor turbine for Nord Stream 1, which pipes Russian gas into Germany and is already operating at reduced capacity due to what it calls the technical condition of the engine. Ultimately, this means from 4 a.m. on Wednesday, gas supplies into Germany will drop to 33 million cubic metres each day, or just 20% of capacity. The move adds to winter supply security worries for Germany, where the Economy Ministry say officials knew of no technical reason to reduce deliveries via Nord Stream 1, which stretches 760 miles under the Baltic Sea. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky and the EU accused the Kremlin of gas blackmail, while in the early hours of Tuesday, Russian missiles attacked coastal villages in the Odessa region. Broken turbine is apparently still awaiting arrival after maintenance in Canada, with Moscow saying it hopes the works will be done sooner rather than later. Kremlin previously blamed shortfalls caused by maintenance issues on Western sanctions. To unravel this latest geopolitical twist, we're joined by Professor Samir Dani, an operations management expert at Kiel University, who specialises in global supply chains and the impact of the Russia-Ukraine war on oil and gas prices. So what's the latest that's happened today?
Russia has said that they're going to be reducing the gas from Gazprom and is going to be reducing to 20% only. Although some of the articles are saying that they're going to cut the gas supply completely. But as I understand, out of 6 turbines, 1 turbine is working and it's going to be 20% of supply through the Gazprom, which is a big hit to supply within Europe and specifically Germany.
And can you explain a little bit about what Nord Stream 1 is and how it works?
So the Nord Stream pipeline is a kind of wider pipeline network that connects Russia to Europe for gas supply. And Nord Stream 1 is a pipeline that runs from Vyborg in northwest Russia, and it goes all the way to Germany, and it's a direct supply of gas rather than going through tankers and trucks and stuff like that. So it's quite strategically, it has been very important as Russia and Europe set that pipeline, and it has been a kind of regular supply and quite useful in terms of that immediate relief of gas requirements to Europe. And that's why they were working on the Nord Stream 2, which kind of got suspended when the conflict started. Otherwise, the supply would have increased further between Russia and Europe with the Nord Stream 2 pipeline.
Then there's this turbine fault. What's the official explanation?
What Russia is saying today is that out of 6 turbines, only 1 is working, and they're saying that some of them need to have maintenance done and sent to Canada for the maintenance. The other one requires certain parts for the maintenance, and the parts are stuck due to the sanctions. Also, there's kind of altercation at the moment because Siemens is saying that it's just a matter of customs papers not being correct. At the moment, there's no issue in actually getting it repaired. Of course, Russia is saying that due to the sanctions set on the supply chains, it's difficult to get the parts in and get that repaired. With that one turbine, even if it goes into, if it's repaired, the projection is that it will increase the supply to 40%, not more than that, because for a full 100%, approximately, it needs all the turbines working. It says that at this moment of time, or this particular time period every year, there is a maintenance scenario, and after the maintenance is completed, then that's when Europe would start stockpiling the gas for the winter. But of course, now if the gas supply itself is constrained, then there would be issues in terms of how much it can stockpile also for the winter across Germany as well as overall across Europe.
What's your take on the real reason behind the supply crisis for Europe? Is it genuine maintenance, or is there something else going on?
I think it's all of these things combined. There will be a maintenance issue. There are sanctions in place. There are movement supply chain issues across in terms of even Gazprom sending turbines to say Canada, etc., for the maintenance. But it's also the fact that yes, there has been this altercation between Russia and Europe. Initially in terms of the payment, the sanctions, and then trying to convert to rubles for the payment for the gas, and then trying to reduce the gas supply to Europe in order to leverage a little bit of that. So I wouldn't say it is primarily the war or it's primarily the maintenance. I think all of these factors are combined in terms of how it's playing out. Of course, Ukraine has offered that in case the Nord Stream, the gas pipeline is not working, then they've said, why don't you transfer supply gas through Ukraine? Could be done through tankers, could be done through other things, but of course that's not taken up at the moment as a suggestion. It also means in terms of the negotiations between Europe and Russia, to what extent both parties are willing to help and collaborate each other on the gas issue. At the end of the day, Europe has said that they're going to wean themselves off Russian gas by next year, excluding a couple of countries initially.
Let's go to the ads. Please do stay there to hear more from Professor Dani on the future of fuel security in Europe. Why not hit rate and follow in the meantime? Welcome back. Professor Dani, is it possible what's happening with Nord Stream 1 with Germany could impact consumers here in the UK?
Well, I think knock-on effect at the moment in terms of energy, because we don't rely on the gas or to that extent coming to the UK, but because our energy companies, which are privatized and rely on the wholesale prices or worldwide wholesale prices, automatically the energy prices go up internally for us. And that has an impact on manufacturing, that has an impact on retail, that has a final impact on the food. 55% of our food is imported. So anything that comes in as a commodity item or through other places where the energy prices are going to increase the cost, is going to increase the cost at our end anyway. So I don't think anybody can control this domino effect. The domino effect can be controlled only if the energy inflationary pressures, if the world comes together to try and curb the energy wholesale price as a universal thing at the kind of central level. And perhaps there's more negotiation with various energy bodies across the world. They come together to find a solution to this worldwide problem. This is not related to Europe or the UK only.
Has Russia got form when it comes to weaponizing resources?
Russia used gas as a leverage, has been using gas as a leverage since the 1950s to kind of create a wedge between Europe and the US. And that's why since the 1950s, Russia has increased its gas supply to Europe to try and make Europe reliant on Russian energy. And so this has always been a very strategic imperative for Russia during the Cold War to keep the Europe away from the US to that extent by keeping it reliant on energy coming in from Russia. So I think we all have, over the last 60, 70 years, all over the world, this growth we have seen in the whole manufacturing output and retail environment, etc., all that we have seen post-World War II, and then more in the liberalization process in the 1990s through China becoming the manufacturing hub of the world. Energy consumption has been on an increase as we go into more capitalist and a kind of consumer economy. So Russia has been at kind of one of the major centers of that energy supply across Europe and Asia, and to an extent that has been their leverage all this time. Plus, we have seen from this particular conflict that Russia and Ukraine have been major holders of grain across the world. So a lot of low-income countries actually are suffering now because of the sanctions and food grains not coming out of this region. Russia has been a major supplier of fertilizer across the world, which again hampers food production if that fertilizer production or fertilizer supply chain stop. And we see with a highly digitalized world, a lot of the chemicals required in the processing of computer semiconductor chips that go into all our digital equipment also comes from the same region of Russia and Ukraine. So if that stops, that supply stop, that has an impact on our digital economies also in that sense. So I think we're all the kind of the whole world's economic scenario is quite entangled with the Russian state at the moment. Although they've tried the sanctions and they've tried all of these things, it means that the rest of the world has to make sacrifices or change the way they rely on certain requirements in the future, if that's what the strategy is going to be.
What steps are Germany and the EU taking to find alternatives to Russian gas?
The European Union decided recently that they were going to try and wean Europe off Russian gas by early next year. Although there were some countries excluded from that agreement initially. But the essence is that if they have to reduce themselves of that gas requirement, they have to either go into electricity heating scenarios very quickly, rapidly. And that electricity then has to be generated through either more renewable sources rather than non-renewable. In the short term, what Germany is trying to do is to increase the electricity heating scenario or electrification itself. They're going to start using coal, which again goes against all the net zero commitments that have been set in place at the moment. Europe is negotiating for LNG, liquefied natural gas coming from the Middle East and North Africa through tankers to Europe instead of gas coming through Russia in the kind of longer term. But there is again a competition because that LNG is getting diverted towards China because China has increased requirements for natural gas. US is a major player now within the natural gas scenario, as well as with crude and other sources being developed within South America and places like that. So there will be that, you can't wean off the kind of non-renewable at the moment completely because the world relies on that, and the whole inflationary pressures are because of the energy scenario at the moment and these gas prices. So with Russia's declaration today, again the gas prices in the wholesale markets have gone up, and it will have impact on lots of industries who are going to be using natural gas either for their processing or heating scenarios.
And finally, how will this impact consumers on the continent this winter?
It's a kind of domino effect because energy is being used in every household. The energy prices have gone up. Inflationary is hitting. Of course, as you look at the pyramid scenario, yes, it will have a big impact on lower income households because again you have to look at the rising costs both in terms of food and energy. Food and energy are the two big expenditures that account for everything across every household. And as winter creeps in, energy would be required to keep warm. And of course, food is a necessity of life. So as inflationary pressures go up, the cost of food is increasing. Now, it all depends on how governments tackle the whole food security issue as well as the energy crisis. I think even governments' hands are going to be tied to an extent unless they go into public distribution systems and start looking at that from a war-like scenario. But who knows how things will turn out.
There's more on this story in the Evening Standard newspaper and online at standard.co.uk. That's The Leader. We're back on Wednesday at 4 p.m.